my name is Jensen, and welcome to our team's presentation of our analysis of Club Corp's potential profitability in different college football stadiums. Firstly, let's meet the team. Andrew was our data analyst and helped to work on the Excel. Catherine was our data visualist and worked on the Tableau. Katarina was our professionalism expert and worked on the report. Savannah, our other professionalism expert, helped assist me on this video. And then I, Jensen, was our video content specialist. In this video, we will be looking firstly at our data analysis and our regression equation. Then we'll move over to taking a look at our Tableau visualizations and finish it off with some recommendations. The data we were provided with was different stadium and team information, and from the data we chose attendance as the most relevant variable to determining profitability. We then ran the regressions to determine which variables were actually relevant to predicting stadium attendance and found that the relevant variables were score difference, average temperature, and then we made dummy variables for whether or not the team was ranked, whether or not the opponent was ranked, whether or not they were a Power 5 team, whether or not the game was earlier in the day, whether or not the game was close, and whether or not there was tailgating. In those aforementioned variables, we created this estimated regression equation, where we surprisingly found that everything increased attendance, and our model was also fairly accurate, with an R-squared of 75%, and our predictions were off by an average of 12,604 attendees. I will now be handing it over to Savannah to take a look at our Tableau.
Hello, this is Savannah here, and I'm here today to share a little bit about our Tableau and what you can do with it. On this first dashboard, you'll see that we have two maps, one for the average fill rate per stadium and one for the average attendance per stadium. You'll also notice that on each map, there are dots that vary in size and color. So the darker the color and the larger the dot, the higher the average fill rate or higher the average attendance will be, and vice versa for the smaller and lighter colored dots. If you look down here at our average attendance per stadium and hover over a dot, you'll notice that a bar graph shows up comparing rain versus no rain and how that looks and how that impacts attendance. So here, this is kind of interesting that rain is actually has a higher attendance rather than no rain, and so that's really interesting. And then if we look up here, we've got some filters, and if we select rain and look real closely, you'll notice that some of these dots actually grow bigger, which is kind of surprising, but that might be because those areas receive a lot of rain and their schools just have to bear through it and go to the games no matter what. But that does show that attendance would be up no matter the rain or not. And then no rain is obviously not going to be very impactful, as that's how most games will be played. And then if we look at the impact of tailgating, if we select true, we'll see that there's honestly not very many schools that are impacted, but the schools that are kind of vary. But as you can see here, these tend to be higher fill rates than maybe places that don't tailgate. Now we're going to look at false and what that kind of looks like. False kind of includes a lot more schools in it, and I think that may be due to tailgating having maybe less of an impact than we thought. If we switch on over to this dashboard, we'll take a look at the weather's impact on tailgating. And as you can see, these general graphs can kind of show us the overall, maybe what temperatures would be ideal. So maybe 60 to 80 would be ideal for maximum temperature, and maybe 45 to 55 would be ideal for minimum temperature. But if you go down here, you can kind of see that if you hover over true or false, the graph will change. As you can see, when we click on true, the trend line for average attendance ratio in comparison to the maximum or minimum temperature is a lot higher, which means that with tailgating, the chance of a bigger audience and more people attending is much higher. Whereas if we look at false, it's obviously much lower and less common for people to attend.
Thank you for that analysis, Savannah. Moving on to our recommendation, we chose these 3 stadiums as the best places to build a new club as they were approximated to have the highest attendance using our regression equation. Firstly, we have Bryant-Denny Stadium in Alabama, Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium in Oklahoma, Memorial Stadium in South Carolina, and because these 3 stadiums have the highest predicted attendance, they should also bring the most profitability to Club Corp. Alright, lastly, our team would like to thank you guys for listening to our presentation, and here's all of our contact info if you need to reach out to us.